you is if you have ambition to be great. My job is to coach you to get all that greatness out of you.
What's good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we are back here for another one. Let me just turn this off here. In fact, we have a fantastic one lined up for you. There's some media availabilities: Darrell, Bevell, Matt Applebaum, Wes Welker, and Frank Smith that have happened over the last 48 hours. I blended those four together into one video. I want to go over them. It's about 19 minutes worth of media availability. There's some key things said, but not only two about Austin Jackson and such that I do want to cover. On top of that, it's time for the Erik Ezukanma film prospect preview, man. I go pretty in depth on them. We got about over 9 minutes of all 22 of them. And again, the upgrades to the channel continues bit by bit. The changes are starting. I've upgraded your film viewing experience, basically going to make it easier on all of you guys to identify where people are on the field. So I hope you like the new twist, and then I'm going to continue upgrading as I continue playing with the program that I've got my hands on. Shout out to Lori Fitzpatrick from USA Today for giving me a hand, as well as the homie Houts. They were big helps for me today. So shout out to both of them. They helped make this possible because I was panicking at one point today because my video wasn't exporting properly with the program I was using. So they helped and did as much as they could to help me along. And we are gravy. Speaking of my rebrand, man, I got everything. Everything's lined up. All the visuals, all my graphics, everything is done right now. I'm just in the process of selecting, of upgrading the lighting here. Once I upgrade the lighting here, which I'm going to be doing over the next week, then we'll be launching the rebrand not too long after. But I do want to upgrade my actual in-studio lighting, just because it's gonna make what I want to do a little bit more effective. So that's where I'm at with that. Expect that in the next couple of weeks. As soon as I got my lighting down, we are good to go. It's Saturday, baby. All of y'all coming out, appreciate each and every one of you for coming out and spending some of your Saturday with me. Yeah, we got a lot to go into today, man. We got a lot to go into today. So I appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time out and coming in here, man. I really do. Already 115 of you in the room. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you are new. You already know what time it is. All right, here's the deal. Let me just shut this down. We got 120 of you in the room right now. I'm going to give it a few minutes and we're going to get going into the subjects here. One thing I did want to talk about though, before we start, we're like really getting into everything here, is this, and I'm going to bring up, this is going to be the opening basically. You know, it's curious. The things we're going to talk about with the Darrell, Bevell media availability tonight, along with, you know, just the traction that video that Tyreek put out got. It's kind of crazy. I mean, you know, where's that same energy? You know, I'm sitting back here. Where's everyone who's keeping all that energy bottled up and just released it when that clip came out from the Miami Dolphins? Where's that same energy now when coaches who have spent more time with the player, who have seen the player from a more in-depth, close-up perspective than any of us have, when they come out and they're saying the things that they're saying, why aren't we talking about that either? I mean, you know, when Studesville or Godsey or even Chan Gailey gave anyone a sound bit, all over it. You know what I mean? And someone was like, well, you know, what do you expect the new coaching staff to say? Well, I say to them, well, do you guys remember the things that Studesville and Godsey, you know, said in the offseason last year? You know, they weren't raving about Tua the way the new staff is. And the new staff, we can all agree, especially on the offensive side of the football, this new staff, they're a lot more in tune and have a higher football IQ than the previous staff did offensively. But no one wants to talk about it. I'm so baffled here. And this is why I'm talking about this. I want to show you guys this. Let's talk about this. So shout out to the homie Nick Hicks. He will be coming on in the next few weeks. I'm working on something with him. So hold on. I have a certain thing I want to do with the show. That's why I could have got him on last week or the week before, whatever. But there's something I want to special. A twist I want to add to the show that I've had in the works for a couple weeks that I'm trying to top off. All right. So, cause that's a potential show where I might launch my rebrand too. So if I can pull off what I want to pull off. So Perform said should get 10 million views, but it won't. And he was alluding towards the Tyreek Hill video, right? And what I found curious was Perform's response to someone here, look at what he says. He says it had, and talk about the Tyreek video. It had to be posted because his teammates were not going to stand for the hate, which is all you got to know about the kid. Everyone wants to make the biggest deal about the golfing or, the work ethic that weren't even, specifically true. I had to clear the air on that. And everyone wants to, bring the work ethic or whatever. It always comes back to his leadership, right? People always try to harp on his leadership. And I know how plugged in Nick is with the actual offensive side of the football, especially the receiver room. What right there is he's telling you is, and we've seen it. So he's not even gassing y'all up with lies. We saw Gesicki do it all last season. Every time he's been asked about Tua, we've seen Gesicki do it. So this isn't actually something that should be shocking to people. But you know what will be shocking to people is this whole narrative and agenda people have tried to push about this kid's leadership role is absolute BS. Absolute BS. I mean, they come out, they shut that down. And let me ask you this. Why am I the only one talking about this? Why will I talk about and show you guys the underthrow? I talked about it. I showed you guys the underthrow. But why am I also the one that's only showing you guys a Tyreek Hill video? Why am I the only one that's talking about what these coaches are saying about Tua? Something ain't adding up here, bro. And broettes. Something is not adding up here. And by the way, not talking about just YouTube. I'm talking about every platform you want to label that has Dolphins coverage on it. Facebook, whatever you want to throw under the sun. Why am I the only one? Someone explain this to me. Where's the unbiased and at least trying to be objective coverage here? So, absolutely, John Beck, from my understanding, Perform isn't experienced at coaching QBs, so I am curious. Nick Hicks was a collegiate quarterback. He was a starter until he tore his ACL. And also, what people are failing to realize is Galu, who is a quarterback coach, okay, not just with Tua, he has quarterback clinics, he owns a quarterback coaching, like, what do I call it, company. And from what I understand, and from what Nick's told me, Galu has been a lot of behind of, okay, this is what needs to be worked on, this is what needs to be the focus, i.e. footwork has been one of the big focus. And so Perform created regiments based on what Galu's list of improvements was and what needed to be worked on. So it's actually been a collaborative effort. If people want to know what's going on. So that's what the actual deal is. So that's why you've seen so a lot of the videos have been stressing footwork and have been all about Tua's footwork, right? That's one thing. Tua's camp, not just Perform, but to his camp came through and said, we got to work on it. We got to get better at. Again, Gallo, look into him. They own, I think it's called, what is it? It's called Raising Champions or something like that. It's something like that. Let me look. I'll tell you what it's called. It's called like Raising Champions LLC or something, I believe. Hold on a sec. I'll tell you guys right now what the name of the company is. I think it's like Raising Champions LLC. I think that's what it is. Something like that. And then Gallo has, his own football at school. And like Tua goes out to these camps, right? And works with the kids. It's not just Tua, right? So that's what the deal with that is. So that's why they didn't go out, and that's why they didn't go after a big time, like everyone knows how I feel about Tom House as a mechanics coach. That's why they didn't go out and go after a Tom House. So that's just the explanation on that. But I just don't get it, man. I just don't see why there's no objective down the line. It's just, and this goes for both sides. Like, how are you just gonna highlight one side of the narrative and then or the story just because it fits your narrative, but like totally dismiss the other one? I just don't understand, man. I mean, the people willing to pounce and hate on the underthrow, and then the other people willing to, jump on the Tyreek video and say he's a Hall of Famer. You know what I mean? Like both spectrums are ridiculous, but it's like talk about both. I mean, if you look at that video that Cheetah Tyreek Hill posted, there's a lot of good throws in there, and you're seeing the velocity and the torque is coming back to Tua. And a lot of it is attributed to his footwork being better, and obviously his hip in arguably the best shape it's been in since he got hit and had the major injury. So, and I want to cover that too. 10-17, man. I want to shout out everyone in Bills Mafia and everyone in Buffalo. Absolutely tragic, unbelievable where this world's at. But absolute tragic news coming out of Buffalo today. Man, just praying everyone is safe and everyone who made it out of there recovers, whether mentally or physically, from the wounds of today. Unbelievable stuff. I mean, what is this world freaking coming to? It's just unbelievable, man. It's unreal stuff. So just want to give that quick shout out, man. I didn't on Twitter because everyone else was doing it. In case people didn't know, I believe a white kid armored up to the T walked in with an AR-15, and he let loose. And I know that the death count was up to 10, and there was a couple wounded, some critically. I know I read a story about a girl, she hid in a in like an ice box and stuff like that to stay away. Like absolutely and the guy live streamed it. Like, come on, man. The guy live streamed it. Like, unbelievable stuff, man. So, sending shout out to Buffalo and Bills Mafia. Tragic stuff, man. Praying for the safety of everyone. And obviously, that's got to be mentally scarring, but also people are going to have physical scars. So, praying that everyone heals quickly there. It's unbelievable, man. And yeah, Jason, it was racially motivated. It was some white. Again, I keep telling people, man, and I don't want to go into politics here. Again, but understand me. I come from Canada. All right, I tell people all the time. Remember, the Underground Railroad led up here. Okay, it led from away from down there and up to where I live. And my wife is Pakistani, so my children are mixed technically, and it's just I could never understand someone's. I mean, listen, we all bleed the same at the end of the day. We all bleed red. All right. The only difference is the actual DNA of the blood and who you're related to. Other than that, we're all humans. It's just, like, so when I see this kind of stuff, you know what I mean? And my wife also grew up in Saudi Arabia, and So when I see, specifically, the propaganda of, oh, terrorists are brown, no. Here's the reality. Terrorists are Caucasian males. Terrorism in the US, the biggest threat is domestic, not international. And the biggest terrorist threat is a domestic Caucasian male from the age of like 18 to 65 who's a Christian. That's literally because a lot of these KKK guys and such are Christians. Or they claim to be. That's what we're dealing with here, okay? That's where we're at. So I just got to get off that chest. Someone married to someone who's been profiled, and my wife was in an American Eagle after 9/11, and because she has a brown skin tone, but she looks more Greek than she does. Anyways, she was asked to leave an American Eagle because people in there didn't feel comfortable, and it's all propaganda based. It's just unreal. But anyways, I'm done preaching about that. My wife is a beautiful woman, and my children are beautiful, and we are so much bigger than races. We are mankind. All right, we're the human race. That's what matters the most. We are the human race. Some of y'all might be aliens walking amongst us. Ooh, I don't know, but for the most part, we're the human race. Let's leave it there. All right, let's back to football. Okay, back to why y'all came here. That's my rant for the end of the day there. But yeah, the whole Tua thing. I can't, I can't hop on a board with all. Listen, if you're gonna see bad stuff, whether it's the all 22, I can't escape the bad stuff. I live react to the games. I break down the all 22. Listen, everyone knows I believe in Tua's ceiling. Everyone knows I believe he can become a top 12 quarterback this year. But when he does things that are dumb, when he makes bad pre-snap reads, when he's inconsistent at reading all three levels, when the touch on his intermediate throw is off and he gets picked, I call it. I call it what it is. When it's a bad predetermined pre-snap read, I call it what it is. I may believe in the kid, but it still doesn't stop me from being objective. So what I'm going to say to everyone in this community, and not YouTube, in the Dolphins community, if you cover the team, if you are a Tua hater or a Tua lover, give as much coverage to the clip you're going to gush over or the clip you're going to crap on as much as the other. All right? Let's get some object, because everyone has been real quiet. These media availabilities, a lot of key things were said, and I'm sitting back here thinking, oh, by the time I do my schedule and come back around Saturday, man, people are going to cover this. No one covered it. So I'll cover it. Sure, let me do it. And, we're going to get an Erik Ezukanma. Guys, again, the upgraded. I'm excited for you guys to see what I got for y'all. Man. New red zone threat, baby. New red zone threat. And it's got me excited. It's got me super excited, man. Because I had watched the Oklahoma game, and then the first two, that St. Michael game, his second game of the season, and the first game of the season. Oh, man. Now I just topped all the film and I forget. But anyways, I'd only watched like 3 games of him. And so when I watched it all as a complete set, I was just like, man, y'all are going to like what we got here. And the intrigue is real. And I need y'all to stick around to see how I've upgraded the footage and your experience. So no more looking at, oh, who am I looking for? You're going to know who you're looking for now. All right. So before we get into that and the media availabilities, a couple quick little things that I wanted to show you guys. A couple news and notes. Let's do some house cleaning. All right. Barry Jackson, and one guy is intriguing me here too. Among 20 people here at Dolphins minicamps, which was yesterday on Friday, on a trial basis, former Ohio State KJ Hill and former Giants cornerback Sam Beal. Now, both are very interesting to me, but KJ Hill is very interesting to me. I know he went in the 7th round, and he's a slot option, and he plays ball at Ohio State. I think I had like a 4th or 5th round grade on him if I go back to that draft. I got to look. But very interesting. I like that. That's an interesting option there. And Sam Beal, maybe some potential corner depth there too. So, remember we signed like over 14 UDFAs, and we're bringing in over 20 people at Dolphins minicamp. So some interesting names with a little bit of intrigue to them battling. Now, do I expect Sam Beal or KJ Hill to be locks? No, but very intrigued to see them get past the stage of potentially, at minicamp. So that's interesting to me, man. Two very interesting options there. And then, guys, a little bit more cleanup for y'all. Let's get into this one. Some roster moves here today, guys. Clary didn't even make it a week. The Arkansas center/guard. He basically failed the physical, so he got waived. And then they brought in Cole Banwert. Just going to be another a body, but Clary, a guy who I didn't think would make it anyways, didn't even make it past the physical. So there you go. One of the UDFAs already out the door, and we haven't even strapped on the pads, baby. So just a quick update, because I know we had talked about him before on this channel a few times. So Clary gone. What else can you really say, right? All right. Now, with that said, let's let's start off. I think we'll start off with the Erik Ezukanma stuff. Erik Ezukanma stuff. and then we're gonna go get into and then we're gonna get into the media availabilities. All right. So we got a bunch of stuff to get into here today. Let's get into Erik Ezukanma, and my prospect preview of him. Man, this is exciting stuff. I'm gonna tell you right now, this kid. I'm telling you, reason to be excited, my friends. All right, let's do this. So, Erik Ezukanma, another explosive weapon and ideal X receiver for Mike McDaniel's offense. I mean, this is good stuff here, man. You guys are going to enjoy this film. I mean, I know I did. I'm breaking it down, chopping it up for y'all. So, Erik Ezukanma, the Dolphins on day 3 of the NFL draft surprised some out there with their selection of wide receiver Erik Ezukanma out of Texas Tech in the 4th round, 125th overall. I had Ezukanma on my day 3 options list of players remaining that I liked, which I had released the morning of the draft's 3rd day. So I wasn't shocked that the Dolphins took him. I was just surprised they passed on a few others. For example, Zach Tom out of Wake Forest, who they were rumored to like during the draft process, at a position of need like center, which competition and depth is needed at. I also had Boise State receiver Khalil Shakir, who went to the Bills, a little bit higher ranked. And again, the Bills traded up to draft him at 148. All that said, I was lukewarm at the time due to the pressing need for center depth, but as I've sat and let the selection, simmer in my mind a bit and refresh my eyes by diving back into film and more film than I had before, I understand the intrigue and like the pick more than I originally did. I graded this pick as a B on my draft grade show, but I may have sold it short as I find myself more in the B+ range with the Erik Ezukanma pick. Let's dive into why. Erik Ezukanma is a rare breed of receiver. He runs a 4.54 40-yard dash. And, there was also a rumor that 4.49, but 4.54 was I could confirm. But his understanding of angles in the open field allows him to be just as deadly of a threat after the catch as a receiver who runs a 40 in the 4.4s. He fits the mold of receiver that McDaniel likes. He's a good athlete, has good size to him, and offers versatility on the boundary. In the backfield, he can be utilized on special teams, and most of all is willing, able, and ready to block. I know something that may worry fans is that Ezukanma may get lost in the shuffle given all the talent ahead of him on the depth chart. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Cedric Wilson, Lynn Bowden, Mike Gesicki all need their targets, and Preston Williams is back fighting for a job. But with this pick of Erik Ezukanma, it seems to have put the writing on the wall for a guy like Preston Williams, who seemed to be already in an uphill battle to even compete with Lynn Bowden Jr. to be the 4th receiver on the depth chart for his team. Being McDaniel's first ever offensive selection as a head coach, Ezukanma is automatically going to take precedence when it comes to reps and a focus from the staff on trying to ensure his deployment. After all, he's already more of an investment by this new staff as their second ever pick compared to Preston Williams, who is a UDFA selection of the previous regime with an extensive injury history at the NFL level already. Ezukanma, his arrival may have sped up the clock on Preston Williams' departure when it's all said and done. When you watch Ezukanma from 2019 through to 2021, there's some things that clearly stand out. And let's start with his ability to high point a football and win those 50-50 contested catches. To be honest, not only do I think he's kind of underrated here, I think he deserves even more credit for where he's at with this aspect of his game. That, because if you look, it's clear as day and right there on the film that he's gotten better at it and better at it every year. That tells me that not only does Ezukanma have the work ethic to get better in areas he needs to, but he's also humble enough to identify to be successful. He's not perfect in every area. I stress this because his route tree is going to have to follow suit. It was far from extensive at Texas Tech and is one of the glaring issues to his game. But when you think of Ezukanma under Coach Mike McDaniel and Wes Welker, while leaning on teammates like Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Cedric Wilson for tips and advice, I have high hopes that Ezukanma can refine it, especially if he carries over the same effort he put forth to get better as a contested catcher. The reason why I like guys like Drake London and George Pickens and David Bell for the Dolphins in this draft was because they fit a certain type of mold, and overall, Erik Ezukanma fits it as well. Ideal fits for him, maybe long-term as an X receiver option in McDaniel's wide zone offense with West Coast principles. Ezukanma has gazelle-like strides. He shows great body control when running through contact in his routes. And like I alluded to earlier, when he goes up to high point the football, man, he can play through that contact too. It's fantastic. His ball tracking ability too is decisively excellent. Mixed in with the body control I just spoke of, and his ability to adjust or contort his body to make the grab is really good. Ezukanma also has sneaky good release package at the line of scrimmage. He shows excellent footwork and body twitch in getting his release. I was actually quite impressed, to be completely honest. The toughness this kid shows too, my God, and not just playing through contact, but I don't think people realize how many times, he's been hit hard but secured the reception, and the overall traffic he just fights through to make catches. He's just not fazed by bodies draped all over him and around him. Another thing that stands out is how reliable and good Ezukanma's hands are. That's not to say he doesn't have drops, because he had 12 over his 4 collegiate years, but 99.9% of the time his hands look like they are made of super glue. He can catch away or against his body, but he's not a body catcher. Don't get me twisted. He can just catch it anywhere, anyhow, as long as he gets a hand or two on the pigskin. What I like too about Ezukanma is he can dominate its catch point with either inside or outside leverage. It doesn't matter. Also, that back shoulder sideline throw element that DVP was so well known for with Tua. I mean, there's no reason why Ezukanma can't, be that and fill that role down the line. I think it's a fair expectation if he's developed properly at the NFL level, because he's already shown that ability at Texas Tech. You have to think also that Mike McDaniel, Wes Welker, and the Dolphin staff saw Ezukanma's ability to break tackles on film and thought to themselves that if they get him open in space with one-on-one matchups, they have another deadly home run threat added to the arsenal, though not as speedy as Waddle or Hill. I swear, Ezukanma is like a pinball, the way he bounces off contact, keeps his balance, and continues trucking on for whatever extra yardage he can get. When McDaniel spoke of Ezukanma being passionate and loving football, you truly see it once the ball is in his hands. I've seen plays, where he can either break 4 or 5 tackles, or it's going, like in the Houston game, or it's going to take 4 or 5 defenders gang tackling him to bring him down, which was, I believe, the, Oklahoma game. I really do think if Ezukanma had better, more consistent quarterback play at Texas Tech, there's no way he would have slid to 125. Another area where Ezukanma thrives and could be heavily utilized in his Dolphins offense is as a red zone threat. His combination of size, strength, leaping ability, and sure hands make him a consistent, viable target for Tua Tagovailoa to target. In fact, I see him as a bigger threat and a guy who could take targets away from Gesicki once the Dolphins get inside the 20, especially when throwing to the end zone. Ezukanma and you'll see that when he's against Ohio State, when you see the clips here. inside the red zone. He's deadly. Ezukanma not only has good body control, but he knows how to use it along with his hands to separate from defenders in the end zone without being flagged. I think I only saw him get flagged once for pushing off on offensive pass interference, and it was a chunk throw. It wasn't in the end zone. And, being able to do that, being able to push off and separate using your body, guys, that's an art form. And to see him already grasping it this early in his football career is very encouraging, because he's just going to be shown tricks of the trade when he gets higher up. Inside the red zone, he also offers versatility as a backfield, as the Texas Tech Raiders, the Red Raiders showed by using him in jet sweeps, wildcat formations, etc. Basically, any way Texas could get the ball in his hands to give him the chance to make a play, they did that. And I know McDaniel's eyes grew wide and lit up when he saw his usage in college. His versatility is also going to make it even harder for him to not get reps on Sunday, and for a guy like Preston Williams to beat out. I truly think Erik Ezukanma has a chance to catch a lot of Dolphin fans and the NFL by surprise in year one, especially if the Dolphins receiving corps happens to suffer any injuries in the receiving corps like they have over recent years. Ezukanma is a type of player and competitor that all he needs is a chance, and though I have Bowden and Wilson ahead of him, Ezukanma is going to be chomping at the bit to take some of the reps and displace them on the depth chart. People may look to Ezukanma's numbers over the duration of his collegiate career and try to label them as underwhelming, but let's be honest, especially in 2021, the quarterback play was subpar, like I alluded to earlier. Ezukanma may in fact be one of the more underrated players of his class, to be honest, but the potential and talent is there for him to be a lot more than just a depth guy at the NFL level. He doesn't have, home run speed, but he can still stack defenders and is a raw route runner, but like mentioned earlier, but he already knows how to use his frame to create separation, shows a knack for finding and sitting in zone soft spots, and uses his field vision to take a lot of smart angles in space. Honestly, once he becomes a polished route runner, besides long speed, there really won't be any huge glaring holes in his game that need immediate fixing. I'm not here for the Deebo Samuel comparisons. I think we need to let Erik Ezukanma be Erik Ezukanma. Yet you can't help but sit back and start drawing parallels between how McDaniel uses Deebo and how Ezukanma was used at Texas Tech. This is yet another potentially explosive weapon they've added to this offense. And honestly, in the long run, he may be the ideal X receiver for this offense as he begins to come into his own over the next couple of years as an NFL receiver. Either way, it's going to be exciting to watch Ezukanma's development as a pro and how he's deployed in this offense as a rookie in 2020. Honestly, man, I'm super excited to watch this guy in year one. They're going to get him his reps. There's just so much he can do. You know what I mean? Huge fan of the guy. His film was real fun. I mean, you saw some of the catches there. I mean, the guy breaks tackles and every stride is long like a gazelle, man. It's like he is just legit. I mean, you can line him up in the slot, you can line him up on the boundary. It doesn't matter. You get the ball in his hands, he's going to make plays. And like I said, he ran a 4.54, but you guys just watched the film. He looks like he's in his 4.4s. Another guy where on film, he plays at a faster speed, especially when you see him start breaking away. I mean, he doesn't have stupid home run speed, but he has more than enough speed. That's a thing. He has more than enough speed. He goes up and he gets that ball. I mean, he's ridiculous, man. He's really good, man. I can see the intrigue. I can see the intrigue. I really can, man. So over the next couple of years as I develop him, man, it's going to be fun to watch this kid develop, because I saw a lot of shades of DVP when I watched him, but obviously he's available more than DVP is, at least at this point in his career. And I just saw an overall better red zone threat than DVP. And the way he knew how to use his body, DVP didn't know how to use his body like that coming out of Louisville. Again, the route tree stuff, that's just a matter of being pigeonholed to a vertical air raid offense at Texas Tech. Remember Kingsbury, Kingsbury brought him in there before he went to Arizona. So, and the thing is, this is a guy who offers a lot of yak. He offers a lot after contact, and he offers a lot after the reception. He does, man. So I like the pick. Like I said, now that I've had time to sit and reflect, I understand the need of Zach Tom, but do I like Zach Tom or Erik Ezukanma better? I'm taking Erik Ezukanma and his ceiling over him. So, you know, um, I like the pick, man. And you guys just saw the film. You know, I hope y'all like the new addition to the film and how I've highlighted the players for you. We're gonna keep going that forward. It's gonna look. See, the thing is too. What people need to realize is collegiate all 22 is never as high quality as like NFL all 22. So, but yeah, we'll get that. We'll keep moving forward. I got a couple things we're gonna start doing so with that with those animations and stuff. But yeah, man, we're gonna take that to the next level. And man, I enjoyed them, and it was, you know, some people are like an effort to not only watch but then go back after you've already watched them and clip up because you got to watch again. Erik Ezukanma was fun, so I like him, man. I like him. I like him a lot, man. So the next one coming up for us is going. I haven't decided yet, but it's going to be this week. I'm going to be doing either Zacondre White, Ron McKinley, or Kellen Deesh. I don't really see I did Tyndall and I did Erik Ezukanma because I think they have legitimate chances to be to to contribute. The thing is, I might do a Cam Good, because he's got a lot of rushing highlights and stuff. But the Cam Good one ain't gonna be long because there's not much to talk about with the guy. So I might do a Cam Good one. Skylar Thompson, maybe, but why am I going to do a backup career? The guy at best going to be a backup career quarterback. Like, I think Kellen Deesh is going to be in a battle with Austin Jackson and Eichenberg. I honestly think he's going to be in a battle with them. Zacondre White, I think he's going to battle for that last. I don't think he'll win it, and I think he'll be put on practice squad. But people want to see that running back. So I might do Zacondre White this week. We'll see. And then Ron McKinley, I love the player. I've watched him, since 2019. Well, yeah, since 2019 when he's playing with Holland. So I want to actually, I want to do that one. So those three for sure are coming. And then I want to do my Tyreek Hill film study for y'all to show y'all what we're getting. I want to look at Jalen Waddle's rookie season. And was there one more? Wasn't there one more I wanted to do? And I think there's one more. But I know I want to do Waddle's rookie season and Tyreek. Oh, Terron Armstead. And I want to do a Terron Armstead breakdown of what we're getting at left tackle. So you can at least expect 3 more prospect profiles. Zacondre White, Ron McKinley, Kellen Deesh, and then actual player breakdowns. I'm going to do Jalen Waddle's rookie year, Tyreek Hill, and of course, we're going to go off and we're going to do Terron Armstead to show y'all what we're getting at left tackle. So we're going to be doing that at least for y'all. Okay. So we'll do Zacondre White this week, I think. We'll do Zacondre White, Kellen D. I'll let y'all know when I go live on Monday. Because I'll be live on Monday again, but I'll have it decided of which one I'm doing. So I might even try and slide Cam Good in there somewhere. All right. So let's get into the media availabilities, everyone, of the coaches, because there are some things that I want to talk about that were said. And by the way, shout out to the new sponsor of the show. Save 15% by using code Phinside the NFL at pick6apparel.co.uk. They got mugs, they got coasters, they got every little knickknack you can customize to players from your favorite team. Go check them out. Get 15% off. Love it. Shout out to Pick 6 Apparel. All right, let's get into the media availabilities. Again, I've clipped this all into one. Let's see what because there are some key things that are said here. So let's go over these. Starting off with Frank Smith. the offensive coordinator of the Miami Dolphins.
Room, obviously with the addition of Michelle, like it seems pretty loaded. How do you see that? Is it competition, or just using those guys in different ways?
I think a lot of it is, having as many good players as you can in the position is not a bad thing at all. That's what we're looking for. Having guys
Agreed.
with
Can never have too much talent.
a broad skill set for the position. So really, we look at it just having guys with the talent to do the things we require at the position. And when the greatest thing about being in Miami is players who want to come here and be a part of it. So,
Let's go.
We've just been really fortunate through the process of how many guys really envision themselves here, see a fit, and with us, and we also see a fit in our with our needs. So, yeah, Sony's been a great addition. We're lucky to be able to get him. My kids are actually going to be attending the same school he went to, so it's been pretty cool from that capacity. I've actually been asking questions about American Heritage.
You see each other in the pickup line or something.
Yeah, exactly. I think he said his daughter's going there too.
I want to ask about also Erik Ezukanma, adding him as a wide receiver. What did you guys like?
Yeah. Oh man, it was. With Wes's background with the school, I mean, It was kind of like, here we go. But physical wide receiver, playmaker, great with yards after the catch. I mean, a lot of what we're looking for, physical, competitor.
Yeah, John, Ezukanma's a beast.
The greatest thing, you're looking for at the position is guys
Ezukanma. I'm going to butcher his name until the season, don't worry.
And especially a physicality and a toughness position. And he demonstrated that all over his tape.
Erik Ezukanma.
You're about halfway through this offseason workout program. I guess as an offensive coordinator, what is like your overarching kind of goal for this period, and what would you view as a successful offseason workout period?
Sure, great question. I think like for us, especially this time of year, as we're not prepping for an opponent, you're really prepping to play the position and maximize your skill set. And for many ways, like guys just learning the way we see it, playing their position inside of the system. So I think a lot of times people rush into the playbook because, you feel that desire to get that down, as opposed to you learn the fundamentals that will transcend all the way to the Super Bowl.
Perfect. I will get his name down.
You got to build the foundation.
I won't stop till I get his name down.
To build the skyscraper you're looking to build on top of it. So that was an analogy
Erik
that
Ezukanma.
always made sense to me. Is like, you want to build a tall, strong building, you got to start with a strong foundation. That's what we're trying to do now.
So, Frank, when you're installing a new playbook, a new scheme, new staff, at what point do you hope to see the light bulb start to turn on for you guys?
It's interesting you say that, because I always go back to when I got to the Saints. We always talked about, I remember the story they always told about Marcus Colston, and at this time of year they were kind of like, he's a 7th round draft pick.
Erik Ezukanma.
And it was right around training camp. The lights really came on for him. You really started seeing the players. So I think this time of year, the worst thing you can do is rush to conclusions, rush to judgment, because right now we're in a really introductory phase to what we want to accomplish with them, and that's learning how to play their position and learning the skill set necessary. So like right now you see glimmers.
I watched his little drive time before I went live, and then I went blank while I started reading. My report to y'all. It was brutal.
They're one piece of the entire offense.
Quiet, Jose.
So I think each guy gives different glimmers to as they go, and then the real measure is when we get to training camp, we start really putting pads on football for real.
When we start seeing some pads.
Tour since the start of the offseason program.
Man, what one, getting to know him as a person has been awesome. Just his sense of humor, how competitive he is.
Let's go.
Just all the makeup that you're like, what he's been able to get to this point. You're like, wow, what a strong foundation as a person, because that's drastically important. And then two, just his ability, like in the vet minicamp, and what he was able to do from play out, his communication skills, his command of the offense, his ability to really accomplish what we're looking to play at the position. So it's been all great so far. We're really encouraged. And then you just see his ability to process in his accuracy. Like, it's been really, really, just impressive just from in this short.
Did this man just call his ability to process and his accuracy impressive? Why is no one talking about this? I mean, whenever our coaches said anything that could be taken and twisted into a bad way on previous regime, everyone was all over it and used it against Tua. Now these certain things are being said, and we're not here. You can hear crickets. Let's
period
go.
of what he's able to take from one day to the next, then
Erik
to the next
Ezukanma.
week, because we see the growth sometimes, as coaches from, week 1 of off-season phase 2, and now this is the last week. Now we're working into the last evolution. So, I mean, from a fundamental standpoint of playing the position, from a leadership and communication standpoint, also associated with playing quarterback.
Ezukanma. Okay, I gotta address this because the media wants to crush Tua. Okay, I agree with you, but here's the problem. Again, all these different platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. All of these people who specifically cover the Dolphins, whether local media or on those platforms, whatever the case may be, it is your job and your duty to be objective and report, like, for example, the underthrow. Report the underthrow, but then report the video and how Tua looked in the video Tyreek posted. Report both. But see, people are only doing one or the other. That's where I got an issue. Ezukanma.
Everything's been extremely optimistic.
How much confidence does that give you as a coach to be able to throw even more than maybe you even thought at him early on?
A ton, but I think it always goes back down to what are we trying to accomplish in this phase, this early part? Because I think, unfortunately, I've done this a couple times with new staff, so it's like knowing the challenges. And I think the really unique thing that Mike is doing is that we are laying the foundation of how to play their position and the skill sets required, the tools necessary. So that when you want to start challenging with scheme later on, they have the foundation and techniques and fundamentals to be able to fulfill that later on. So it's like, you're teaching, how to punch and, how to give the freaking judo chop before you go straight to dojo fights, right, the Valley Karate Championship. So
This man just made a Cobra Kai reference.
not yet. No, that's a finishing move, man. You don't do that right away.
Where is he from a physical standpoint in terms of what you guys need to play that position?
Oh, physical has been fine. I mean, the one unique thing with him is his ability to play with fundamentals and accuracy of the ball. So, I mean, this time of year we're working the whole route tree, all different concepts, and all the things necessary for the wide receivers.
Get
and
Erik,
for him, the running backs.
get Erik
So the
Ezukanma
one thing
in there.
is his ability to, on the field, process and deliver the football where it needed to go. So, from a fundamental skill set, it's been awesome because, the way there's many different philosophies to how you approach this time of year, and then the way we're doing it is really letting them understand their piece of the puzzle, and then especially with the quarterback playing the position, playing it fundamentally sound, and using your eligible receivers to play it, and they know how they fit in the puzzle, and all that working together has been great. Because I just think the one thing that this time of year allows us to, without playing versus anyone, it just allows you to really master the things that you can rely on when it counts in September, October, November, all the way into February.
What are your impressions of his arm? Have you got an idea of what?
Hold on a sec here. Let's straighten some facts out for a sec. Reason has a better chance to pronounce Erik Ezukanma's name correctly than the Penguins going anywhere, let alone winning a title. My Penguins were up 3-1 in their series, up 2-0 in Game 5, and it took a cheap shot elbow to Sidney Crosby's head to knock him out of the game with a concussion, and he was not back yesterday because of his concussion as well. And on top of that, our starting goalie's been out since before the playoffs started, and we lost our backup goalie in Game 1 of the series. All right? So, it's taken an AHL caliber goalie and knocking out the best player in the game. He had 9 points in 4 games heading into Game 5, did Sidney Crosby, lighting the world on fire for the Rangers to even get back in the series. So let's talk facts here, all right? all of you Panther fans, you guys won your first playoff series since 1996. Do you know what my Penguins have done since 1996? 4 Stanley Cup appearances, 3 Stanley Cup wins, 5 Eastern Conference appearances, 4 Eastern Conference titles. Talk to me when you get even one of those. Thank you very much.
You can and maybe can't do vertically?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that we're limiting ourselves in anything. He's actually done a great job of, every day presents different, routes, different things we're trying to accomplish with the receivers. So I would say that everything we've done so far has been extremely optimistic, because there are certain things in our progressions and reads, and his ability to move from throughout his progressions has been awesome for a guy just really being in the system for a month.
Greg, where does Sony Michel, and sorry if you were asked this already, where does Sony Michel fit into this running back room? It feels like...
You know what the thing is, Ken? I'll call a spade because I'm a Dolphins fan. If the Dolphins were a running franchise like the Penguins or the Patriots, you'd be talking just like that too. All of us would. Difference is we can't.
One of the deeper positions on the team.
Yeah, because we had Sidney Crosby. When you take Sidney Crosby, the best player out of the world out of the game, that's not an excuse. That's context. Stop sounding like a two-way hater. That's called context. Remember I said Dolphin fans, a lot of them don't understand the word context, let alone can't, define it or spell it. Point proven. That's literally like the Dolphins going to the playoffs and they're losing Marino.
Before he got here.
Yes.
And with him, just wanted to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah. We are looking for depth of very good players everywhere. So the fact at which him becoming available due to him being from here, his desire to want to play here, and then a system that really features a running back skill set, because the greatest gift that we have is the resume of the system speaks for itself for running backs. So a lot of the guys through the offseason, their desire to play.
Hold on, y'all speak for yourself with quarterbacks too. Some of y'all on that staff made Jake Plummer look like a stud.
Coincided with our wanting to have him here. So I think that for him, his skill set and just evaluating him in the past, it was a perfect fit for what we're trying to do, and just the availability and everything. It worked out.
Obviously, you don't watch hockey because Malkin is not what he was. Talk about Malkin, whose body's breaking down, he's not even 100% from his ACL surgery. Stop.
Because as a running back, we look for complete backs, and it was great that it aligned and that he really had a mutual interest as we did.
How have you kind of assessed, Tyreek?
All right. So overall, good kind of interview with Frank Smith. Gives you insight on the process. He talked about how they get into the fundamentals and the foundation of the offense. So when they start throwing scheme-specific things towards players, because they're already familiar with the foundational elements of the offense, then that means it's easier for them when you throw curveballs at them with what you want to do schematically. So that was a very interesting portion. Obviously, him talking about Tua's processing and highlighting Tua's processing, that's another big thing you want to see. I don't think these guys would come out and say, Tua's not good at this and not good at that. What I do think they wouldn't do, though, is I don't think they would come up and gas you up on things. So what I mean is he just wouldn't have mentioned it. If he wasn't impressed with Tua's accuracy and processing that he's seeing, he just wouldn't have mentioned it. That's what it wouldn't. He wouldn't have came up and gassed you guys up, because then they'll look like idiots. So here's what Welker had to say.
You said you want to be there to feel that speed, feel that stuff. How have they, compared to your expectations before seeing them in person, lived up to those expectations when you saw them in person?
No,
talk about the speed of the receiving core.
Those guys are full speed all the time, and that's the cool thing about it. You know, a lot of times you get guys that
Wes got
are
the baby
4'2"
blues,
guys that
Love it.
know they're 4'2" and don't
So was I,
necessarily
Andy.
play 4'2". They play 4'2", and they do it all.
Andy, I used to call Wes Welker, my ex-girlfriend, I used to call Wes Welker my little white boy. And when they traded him, I was so pissed off. And she's like, what happened? I'm like, oh, they traded Wes Welker. She's like, who? I'm like, my little white boy. You know what I mean? And like, I loved Wes Welker, man. I can't say I was so bitter. I was so bitter.
A lot, and every time they're out there on the field, they're going as hard as they can, and you know, you definitely feel that out there on the field, and I think the quarterbacks feel it as well, and you know, just makes their jobs easier to, you know, get the ball.
Woo! Here comes that organic leap for Tua.
How's the feedback and communication been in the room as far as when you go to the field and back into the classroom? How's that kind of communication between you and the players been so far?
It's been good. It's been good. You know, I think you know, it's always you're always building relationships, and so I think early on we were all feeling each other out and seeing where we were at and all those different things. But no, it's a fun group to work with. You know, obviously the talent level that we have in the room and all those different things is you know, it's a cool thing because they're talented, and you know, I think it's on all of us collectively to, you know, bring the best product out of that talent out there on the field.
What would you say is the most important?
All right, another thing I did want to talk about, and it wasn't in that interview, but Wes Welker. One thing he was, I believe it was David Furones. I think it was David Furones. Yeah, it was David Furones. So, you know, Wes Welker was basically talked about watching Tua Tagovailoa with Miami's receivers. And Wes Welker said, and I quote, the progression that he's made this offseason, I think it's been the most of anybody out there on the field. And you can go look at David Furones' latest article about it and look at that. The progression that he's made this offseason, I think it's been the most of anybody out there on the field. So again, who wants to come at this kid's work ethic? Okay. I mean, Wes Welker, the wide receiver coach, coming in and talking about how good he's been and how hard he's busted his ass. One more time. The progression that he's made this offseason, I think it's been the most of anybody out there on the field. That's a quote from Wes Welker. But let's question his work ethic, right? Clowns. And here's Darrell Bevell.
I think really
hiring
a sense
in the
of timing
offseason.
and accuracy would be the first two things that I would say, and Tua's got really a great feel for both of those, and that's where I'd say it starts.
What have you learned about him so far since starting?
Oh, I've learned a lot. You know, I've learned a lot, but really like the you know, the person, the personality. You know, the longer we're here, the more you kind of get to see the real guy. You know, when you first meet somebody, it's, you know, you're not quite sure what it is. So the more time we spend together, just really like him as a guy, his preparation, how important it is to him, those kind of things. And then what I see on the field is a guy that really is a tireless worker at it. It's important to him. Got a good rapport with the guys. And this guy's going to be the limit for what we're going to be able to do.
Do you see leadership qualities from him? Do you see it actively when he's working with?
I do. And each guy really has kind of a different, set of leadership skills. I mean, we've talked about it, and no one guy is going to be the same. But yes, Tua definitely has it. And I mean, obviously, the number one thing is when you go play well. You know, that helps you lead. But he's doing all those other things. He's working on his game. He's working on his team. And he's doing all those things to help him be a great leader.
Let's go.
We should ask you about Skylar Thompson. What was the thought process in the team getting him in the 7th round? What did you like about him personally?
Yeah, I mean, I like the way that he played the position, number one. He always played it, as I watched his tape, he played it with a good base. He's an older guy. You know, he's played it for a while as well. He's got a lot of experience. than today. I really liked his command. I liked the way that he was able to enter the huddle, communicate with the guys because the plays get very, very wordy. And then he was able to make some plays with his arm. So it's a good first day.
And Teddy, I mean, pretty much the ideal backup to have for Tua and a guy who could fill in if ever the case came up.
Yeah, very capable backup. Obviously, another guy that's very experienced in the NFL, played a lot of games. So at any time you would have to go to him, you would feel very comfortable with it. He's great in the room. Tua and him have a good relationship already. They communicate well, and I think that's always an important factor for those guys. The starting quarterback kind of needs that guy to lean on. I think Teddy would be great for that. But Teddy hasn't lost a stinger either. He's a competitive guy, and for his opportunity, if he ends up getting one, that he'd be ready and prepared to go.
Has anything stood out to you about Chris Streveler?
Really, his versatility. We're doing a lot with him in practice. I mean, he's doing a lot of different things. He's working on special teams, and he's just a tireless worker.
With the center.
All right, another thing that I wanted to highlight here. It was in Barry Jackson's article on Miami Herald. When they spoke to him, one of the key things that Darrell Bevell actually said, again, it wasn't in that clip, was he said there's not really any throw that he can't make when he was talking about Tua. He flat out said there's not really any throw that he can't make. And again, why is no one talking about this? You know what I mean? Like, now, not only do you have players coming out, and defending Tua, but now, you got the coach. You got a guy who, remember, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, right? There's been plenty of quarterbacks under him that have seen a lot of success. And, you see this guy coming out here and saying, well, there's not really a throw he can't make. Why is no one talking about that? Someone explain to me why that's not being talked about. So, again, I just, I sit back and no one wants to talk about this stuff, and I don't know why. I really don't. But, when you got a guy who's got a resume with quarterbacks like Darrell Bevell does, and he's telling you there's not a throw he can't make. I mean, what else do you really need to see? Or what else do you need to hear? I don't get it. I really don't. So, I don't know. I'm sitting here, and it's just shocking to me that so much hate for one clip, one simple, unimportant clip that no one in their right mind is putting stock into. I mean, look what Kurt Warner said, guys. Why is no one talking about what Kurt Warner said? Kurt Warner came out and talked about how he underthrew plenty of receivers in practice. Plenty of them. Shout out to Ian Baller. He said, you see JT Sports vid on Mike McDaniel? Actually, no, I haven't. But, Kurt Warner, it's just like, it's like the film breakdowns. Peyton Manning and Kurt Warner, when they did the film breakdowns, were very positive about Tua. They didn't get nearly as much traction as the hate does. I just don't understand. But Kurt Warner just tweeted out like 2 days ago when this whole thing was going about the underthrow. He's like, I've underthrown plenty of people, but no one wants to talk about it. But Darrell Bevell comes out and tells you and I quote, there's not really any throw that he can't make. That's an exact quote from our quarterback coach's mouth, who has one of the better resumes. And you can, just like Pep Hamilton, you can label him a legit quarterback whisperer. I mean, Brett Favre followed him. The reason why he went to Minnesota from the Jets was because Bevell was there. Okay. Russell Wilson, operated in a top 5 offense for his first 4 years in the NFL under Darrell Bevell. Okay? So we're talking about legitimacy here. But, okay, let's get into Matt Applebaum because he got some interesting things to say as it seems like Austin Jackson continues trending towards starting at right tackle. Shout out to Fake Spike 94. He says, at Niagara Falls for my wedding anniversary. Wish you were here, bro. Hey, bro, so do I, man. Are you on the Canadian side or are you on the American side? If you're on the Canadian side, let me know. I can tell you a few things to do. All right, let's see what Applebaum says.
Position, obviously, you've added some undrafted rookies, but Michael Dieter doesn't really have a veteran competition in terms of guys who have experience snapping. Is the plan to train players to snap?
Yeah, that's one of the plans for sure. I mean, we want to have all the guys play as many positions as they can, within reason. I mean, we know Tehran's going to play left tackle. Okay, so there are certainly guys playing multiple positions right now, and they could add to the mix at that position. Yes.
Matt, I'm so sorry. I know obviously Connor has spent time at center the past 3 weeks. He obviously played center in preseason for Dallas. If he emerges as your best option at center, do you have a conviction yet about whether he would be a good NFL center? We know he's a good NFL guard. Is that a viable option in your mind?
I think that's something that we're in the works of trying to figure out if that's the answer or not. You know what I mean? So we're seeing him at a couple different positions and seeing what he's capable of doing. And I know that that's not a very definite.
They're not moving Connor Williams to center. That doesn't sound like that at all. That sounds like we didn't get any competition in here. We wanted to see what he can do there because if Dieter goes down, we're screwed.
An answer, but we're not at that stage yet, so I can't give you that answer, you know. But I know that he's a talented guy. He's smart, he's athletic, he's strong. He has a lot of 1-2. He's really giving us everything we're asking of him. For as much as he's played, he's still a young player. So I think he's a guy that has a lot of position flex. What his best position will be at the end of the day, we're still figuring that out.
With Michael Dieter, what do you hope to see from him to sort of have him cement himself in that spot?
I mean, it's just a competition every day. It's not like there's this one thing that if Michael Dieter does this one thing, then...
Congrats, Fake Spike. Have a blast, bro.
I think Michael Dieter's giving us everything we're asking right now. He's smart,
give our best wishes to the wife.
He's shown athleticism. He has improved over the course of phase 2. I really like working with him. I don't think there's just this one thing that it's like, okay, if he does that, then he's cemented there. It's competition every day. And I think that's how you have the best room. Right, is that everyone's pushing each other. So I'm optimistic about Michael Dieter right now.
So do you?
Yeah, Dieter, I mean, we've seen he offers you a lot of guard. When he came in what was it, 2020? Yeah, when he came in what was it, to his rookie season? Yeah, when he came into his rookie season when Kinley went down near the end of the season, he was just moving bodies, man. He looked like he had made a good improvement at the position since 2019. Man, I just don't see them stopping his development if they can't get a legit guy in there.
You feel like this is a situation where you're just going to start the best 5 and figure out how they mesh?
I would say that there's some validity to that, yes.
Skills with Austin Jackson, Matt, that make you think he could be an effective NFL right tackle. We haven't seen him at that spot in a regular season NFL game.
Yeah, I think AJ is a really talented young guy. He's
telling you
so far to work with.
Here you go.
He's got position flex as well. I think he's actually put some good stuff on tape up to this point, you know. But we all know the nature of this position. When some things don't go well, then all that stuff kind of falls off to the side. I think he's an ascending player, and I think he's got the traits to be a productive tackle in the NFL, whether that be left tackle or right tackle.
With center having the responsibility,
yeah, he's going to be a right tackle.
At what point
Lock it in
training camp would you start to get nervous if you don't know who your center is?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. You know, I don't know the exact answer to that.
I like Applebaum.
But I can see why you'd ask that question. Right now, everyone's
so
working
personal
hard at doing the base fundamentals, the techniques that we're asking of them at multiple positions. So we're nowhere near there right now. And I don't have the definite answer for that question. Hopefully we don't encounter that problem.
If we were at the midpoint of training camp and you didn't know, would that
I
make you
don't really
sleepless?
envision that happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Matt, considering what this line, I guess, struggled with last year, obviously a lot of noise outside the building. That
They won't
needed
commit to
full-scale
Dieter, though, that's for
change.
sure.
But I'm curious because I never got to ask you, what were you and your fellow coaches' first reaction when you were able to look at the tape of the offensive line you were inheriting?
I was encouraged. I mean, I see negative plays like everyone else does, but I see a lot of positive plays too, and I like to focus on the positive. And then when you just focus in on one guy or another guy and you ignore what's happening with the play or where in the game that play is occurring, and you're just studying what that guy is doing.
Yeah, Applebaum looks like he could suit up tomorrow.
And then when you get to know these guys on a more intimate basis, you're like, wow, these are really good dudes. They're hardworking on top of their talent, and they want to be good. And I mean, I'm really encouraged up to this point.
Is there ever I guess, where's the balance between coming to a conclusion from what you see on film versus saying, okay, like I'm inheriting a new player, like let me see what I can do with him, let me see what I can get out of him?
I think that's a great question, and I think there, like most things in life, there's a gray area to that. You know, there's not a black and white answer to that. When you watch the tape and you see what you see, for good and for bad, I don't think anyone can completely ignore that and say, oh, it's a completely blank slate. But at the same time, you're asking them maybe to do different things fundamentally, technique-wise. Maybe it's a different vibe overall, and maybe that can bring something different out of them. So I think it's a balancing act. I don't have an exact answer for that. I like to lean more on the positive. I just think that that's a healthier way to be overall in life. And then also, I just think as a coach, it's our responsibility to try to
We
bring
need
the
you
most
on
out of these
Twitter.
guys. So I try to lean towards the positive about it, and I've seen some very encouraging things so far.
So again, he says he's seen some very encouraging things so far. And again, you see the smile that came on his face when we talked about Austin Jackson? I'm telling you, they're gushing over his traits. I'm telling you right now. They're looking at his traits and they're saying, and then they're looking at the guys who have come through and coached him between Marshall, Lemuel Jean-Pierre, and such, everyone who's come after Flaherty, and they're like, oh my God, these jabronis didn't know what to do with him. I'm telling you right now. And listen, the way they conduct themselves, like, our offensive staff seems not only far more brighter than what we had in recent years, but they also seem far more modern, looking at you, Chan Gailey. And they also just, like, there's a freeness, there's a vibe to them of, like, I mean, listen, even it's rubbed off on Greer. I mean, we listened to Greer in his post-draft conversation sitting with McDaniels, and the guy's giddy like a schoolgirl, laughing like I've never heard him laugh before, laughing at everything that comes across. It's just the energy, the vibe. It's honestly, it's intoxicating, It makes you want to be in that building. I envision Liam Eichenberg being the swing tackle. If they can get a center in, I envision Dieter being your swing guard, your main swing guard. But yeah, I envision Eichenberg being a swing tackle. But again, notice how not much talked about Eichenberg, right? Not much talked about Eichenberg at all in that session. And Applebaum was the longest section next to Frank Smith. Nothing. That's got to give you cause for concern. And yet you see when Austin Jackson comes up, the face lights up. And I'm telling you, it's the traits. And they think they're going to be genius and they're going to get them right. And they probably will get them right. And they will look like geniuses. I'm telling you, they're looking at their traits, they're rubbing their hands, and they're saying, wait till we show them what good coaching can do with this. Exactly, Guam Kid. Coaching, my friend. Guam Kid nailed it on the reason. How could we draft 3 linemen at first and seconds and they're all not good? Something's wrong with that. Coaching, my friend. Well, Eichenberg traits, but coaching. Like Robert Hunt. Look at how good he's been and how much we all love him. And he's done that with shit around him on either side to lean on, whether it's Jesse Davis or whatever. And then terrible coaching. Imagine what Robert Hunt's we're talking about what Austin Jackson can be with coaching, maybe what Dieter can be with coaching. Imagine the leap Hunt's going to take with good coaching. Andy Jackson, can they fix Iggy too? Well, that's a different side of the football. I can't speak on that. But I will say this, Sam Madison, I've told you guys everything I've been told privately about Igbenogany. He works as hard. He studies the film hard. He puts all the work and effort in and just hasn't translated to the field. I think Sam Madison came out yesterday during the meeting of media availabilities, and he said, Igbenogany is one of the hardest workers he's ever seen. So, no, Hammer, I didn't see that they had Hunt at right tackle. So, can they fix Iggy? I don't know. See, Iggy's got a little bit I don't know, man. Different position, harder, much harder. I don't know. Iggy's I can't say Iggy don't have the traits because he got the traits, but that's all. That's it. You know what I mean? And let me put it this way. If I was a betting man, which I am, but I don't think you can bet on this, but if you could bet on this, if you were to say, okay, who do you want to put $1,000 on taking, getting fixed under the staff? Austin Jackson or Noe Benogany? I'd put it on Austin Jackson. I don't know what to say. I'm not trying to, be a hater or be a downer or anything like that. But, that's pretty much what I would do. Yeah, perfect. He got 0 ball skills, 0 anticipation, not a good tracker. Yeah. He can mirror, but that's about it. Even still. And then when he gets beat mirroring, he can get handsy. We just haven't seen him enough. And I said, the scary thing, I've said it before, I'll say it again. The scary thing about Iggy with me and the thing that gives me real pause on Iggy is when Danny Crossman, a special teams coordinator, doesn't even want to give him reps. When that happens, that worries me big time. Because, what are they seeing firsthand that they're like, this guy's not even worth giving special teams reps? That is a scary, indicting little fact. I've said this before. If you can't beat out the top 2 guys on the depth chart with young guys, you would at least try to get them special teams reps. You at least try to get them special teams reps. And the thing with too is developing corners has kind of been our specialty. Noah, Nick Needham was a UDFA. Look at the play we got. Look at what we've got from him in 3 years. Trill Williams, look at what we got from him in year 1. So, I can't sit here and say, I can't sit here and say that, I can't put it on. I don't know, man, how much I could put on coaching. So, with me, if I was a betting man, I'd put more money on Austin Jackson coming out with his coaching staff and taking a leap. I know my boy Neil Driscoll, he has, I believe he has Austin Jackson as the guy taking the biggest leap for him this year. So, I don't know, man. It's gonna shake out. It's gonna play out. It's gonna be an interesting battle. I think Kellen Diesch is gonna be in there for the battle too. I think Kellen Diesch is gonna give Eichenberg a real run for his money. So just like I expect a leap with Tua, I expect a leap with this offensive line this year. So that's where I'm at. And the reason why I'll never get off of the Noah pick is because back when Pro Football Network and the Draft Network had him ranked 190 something, me and the M were saying Antoine Winfield is that dude at safety. Everyone knows who had been watching me from day one. I was banging the table for Jonathan Taylor, and now I see what Jonathan Taylor's done, and I'm like, fucking no Igbenogany. So, hey, let me tell y'all, I got a $300 bet with Ballgame that Noah busts out. I will happily pay Ballgame $300. Happily pay him $300 because I would want Noah to hit. It's better for my team. It's better for my franchise if he hits. So I hope Noah proves me wrong. I just wouldn't hold my breath that he proves me wrong. That's how I look at it. So is what it is, you know. This guy just got compared to Jamar Fletcher. Wow, that's painful, my friend. All right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. What the deal is, I'm gonna be back on Monday night, and I'll see y'all on Monday night. I got a couple things lined up and planned for this week, so make sure you stick around. I think we're gonna dive into Zakondre White as our next prospect preview. It's gonna be Zakondre White or Kellen Deesh or Verone McKinley. So make sure you stick around. We'll drop one of those this week as we continue on previewing these prospects that are worth previewing. So listen, guys, man, it's 9:30 on a Saturday and we have over 400 people in the room. I appreciate you guys. I didn't even expect to have that many people today because it's a Saturday. I expect y'all to be doing your thing. But look out for me on Monday. I'll be back on Monday. Until next time, you already know what time it is, baby. I love all of y'all. I appreciate all y'all. Even the haters, y'all make me just be better. When I drop that rebrand on your dome, be ready for it. That'll be coming in the next 2 weeks or so. I'm just waiting on, like I said, my lighting upgrade. But guys, hey, if you missed it, go back and check out the Erik Ezukanma breakdown. Smash that like button if you're still in the room. Subscribe if you're new. On our way to 8K. We are under 172 8K, so let's get there. Let's get to 10K by the beginning of the season. You already know what time it is, baby. Fins up all day, every day. I'll see all y'all right back here on Monday. Love y'all.